The Galactic Council's emergency session had been in progress for 3 standard cycles. Representatives from 47 species filled the crystalline chamber, their various forms of distress evident across the spectrum of visible and non-visible light. At the center of the holographic display floated an image that had paralyzed interstellar commerce for weeks, the void maze of Kepler 442b. Commander Zixthal of the Crystalline Collective spoke first, their voice resonating through translation matrices. The mathematics are absolute. The gravitational fluctuations within the maze shift in 11-dimensional patterns. No vessel can navigate through without being torn apart by tidal forces. We have lost 37 ships attempting passage. The hive mind of Tau Ceti added their consensus, thousands of voices speaking as one. Our computational networks have run 10 or 18 simulations. Survival probability, 0.0003%. The margin of error exceeds the possibility of success. Ambassador Krython, whose species had been exploring space for 12,000 years before humans discovered fire, extended a ceremonial tendril. We propose abandoning the Kepler route entirely. The economic loss is acceptable compared to continued casualties. Then, from the back of the chamber came a sound that made every alien present pause their deliberations, a sound their translation software struggled to classify. It was something between a cough and a laugh, casual and entirely inappropriate for the gravity of the situation. Sorry, said Captain Sarah Chen, the sole human representative, waving her hand apologetically. It's just, have any of you actually tried flying through it manually? The chamber fell silent. 47 species processed this question, each arriving at the same conclusion. The human had clearly suffered neural damage. Captain Chen, Zixthal said slowly, their crystalline structure refracting concern in ultraviolet bands. Perhaps you misunderstand. This is not a matter of skill or courage. The mathematics forbid survival. Sarah stood, her 5'4", frame dwarfed by most beings present, a grin spreading across her face. Yeah, but here's the thing about humans. We're really bad at accepting no as an answer. Especially when physics says we can't do something. That's basically foreplay to us. The translation matrices sparked with confused cross-references. I volunteer, Sarah continued. Give me a ship in 12 hours, I'll clear your void maze. 3 cycles later, Sarah sat in the cockpit of the Dawnbreaker, a standard human corvette that every alien engineer had declared absurdly over-engineered and compensating for something. She was drinking coffee, a human stimulant that most species classified as a mild poison, and humming along to something her audio system identified as 80s rock music. The void maze stretched before her, a region of space where 3 collapsed. Stars created a gravitational dance that defied conventional navigation. Debris from failed attempts glittered like malevolent stars. Every sensor on her ship was screaming warnings. The recommended action, according to her AI, was immediate retreat. Sarah cranked the volume up and disengaged the autopilot. Manual control? Her AI protested. Captain, this contradicts contradicts everything. Story of my species. She cracked her knuckles. Here's what your math doesn't account for. Humans learned to drive in traffic on Earth. We learned to fly in atmospheres that actively tried to kill us. We learned to dance before we learned to walk properly. The first gravitational wave hit, and Sarah rolled the ship with a pilot's instinct, not calculation. Where AI predicted and calculated, she felt. Her hands moved across controls with practiced rhythm, adjusting thrust vectors in response to forces that shifted faster than computers could model. This is impossible, her AI insisted as the ship spiraled through a space that should have crushed it into quantum paste. Impossible is just a dare with paperwork, Sarah laughed, genuine joy in her voice as she threaded the Corvette through gravitational eddies that existed in 11 dimensions. Her consciousness, limited to perceiving 3 spatial dimensions and 1 temporal, somehow intuited the patterns. Not through mathematics, but through something older. The same instinct that let her ancestors track prey across savannas and navigate oceans by stars. The aliens watching from their safe observation posts saw something their sensors could barely track. The human ship moved like it was dancing, not flying. It rolled, dove, and spiraled through impossible spaces with movements that looked almost playful. There was no rigid mathematical precision, only fluid adaptation. "She's treating it like a game," Ambassador Crethon observed with something approaching horror. "No," corrected an elder crystalline who had studied humans extensively. "She's treating it like jazz. Controlled chaos. Deliberate randomness. It's the most human thing imaginable. Pattern recognition operating faster than conscious thought, guided by something they call gut feeling." 17 minutes after entering the void maze, Sarah emerged on the other side. Her ship bore scorch marks and minor hull damage, but she was through. She immediately spun the Corvette around and dove back in. "Captain Chen, what are you doing?" Zixthal transmitted urgently. "Just making sure I've got the route memorized," Sarah called back cheerfully. "Be out in a sec." She traversed the maze 3 more times, each run faster than the last. Her laughter transmitted across all frequencies as she barrel-rolled through a gravitational vortex that had consumed a hive-mind dreadnought just days before. When she finally docked at the observation station, the entire Galactic Council was waiting. They studied her with instruments and sensors, searching for some hidden mutation, some secret adaptation that explained the impossible. They found nothing. She was entirely, frustratingly baseline human. "How?" Zixthal finally asked. Sarah shrugged, still grinning. "You guys relied on computers to find the safe path. Problem is, there is no safe path. The maze doesn't have a solution. It has a rhythm. You can't calculate your way through. You have to feel it." She paused. "Also, I didn't think about dying even once." That probably helped. The council members exchanged glances across species boundaries, arriving at a unanimous realization. Humanity had spent its entire evolution doing impossible things because they were too stubborn, too curious, or too entertained by the challenge to accept limitations. Within a month, human pilots were guiding alien vessels through the void maze. They couldn't explain how they did it in terms other species understood. They just laughed, cranked up their music, and flew. The Galactic Council added a new entry to their database of human characteristics. Treats impossibility as a personal insult and responds with joy. It was, they decided, the most terrifying trait they'd ever encountered, and the most useful.